you A very wonderful afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, from wherever you're catching the game. It's a Spa 8 clash between Jinja Secondary School and St. John's Secondary School, Mukono. Jinja Secondary School has won the toss and opted to bat first in this game. Oyeti Baker Samuel and Saddam Oyaga are the umpires standing in this game. An exciting clash. The champions of the Central Region squaring off against the champions of the Nile region. The game broadcasting live from the Laibi ground. My name is Evan Cyprian Sajabi here in the comms, and I have Fortunate Aljuna here with me. Fortunate, welcome to the comms and good afternoon.
Thank you very much, Ivan. Good afternoon. It's really good to see Erin Mutonyi marking her run-up and ready to bowl the first ball with the two batters for Jinja already set. And she's making sure that all the fielders are in place. It's really happy that she hasn't been bowling in the first over, but now it is a high clash game, and in the Super 8 you have to give it all your best. Erin Mutonyi comes into the attack.
Good start there for Erin Mutonyi. It's a dot ball already. Very, very good bowling there from Erin Mutonyi. Elizabeth Acheng and Leila Nalukeng are the opening batters for Jinja Secondary School. And Mutonyi Erin, a player for the Victoria Pearls. They are trying to make sure that she makes her mark for the Namuyenje Best School. And on drive there coming in from Elizabeth Acheng, but it finds the waiting fielders. A very good start here for St. John's Secondary School. Back dot balls to start off things here at Laibi.
The two batters really know that it is Mutonyi who has all the capabilities or possesses the most threat from the bowlers for St. John's. So if they see her through, it will be very good for them. Little movement off the surface there. She has really hit good lanes, challenged the batters already in 3 balls. But I love that ball, really moving a little bit away from the right-hander and landing in that area of uncertainty where every batter won't be happy to see the ball land. She's starting right, and she's doing everything so well at the moment. Cheng is yet to get off the mark. Slower this time round, but Acheng is equal to the task. Just comes forward and pushes it a little bit. She knows what she's up to. You don't have to go harsh on such a bowler, trying to rush into doing things, because you know not every team has 5 good bowlers. But I tell you, it has been a really good bowling side for St. John's. They have had so many brilliant bowlers.
She goes full, but that's down the leg, and wide is the call from the umpire. This has been the issue in this tournament. The extras have always been powering so many teams. Erin Mutonyi somehow straying and losing her line. Drops that one out of the tram lines. And the first runs on board for Jinja SS come on board.
I tell you, even Mutonyi with her experience has been accustomed to bowling extras. We saw that game against Masindi. But when she's not giving away extras, she's really deadly. She's hit brilliant lanes there. But another dot ball, 5 in this over so far.
One more ball to complete the over. St. John's Secondary School coming into this game at the back of the loss. They lost it to Masaka Secondary School. Whereas Jinja SS was at a good side of results, unbeaten in the groups. Driven down the ground, but straight to the fielder. And it will be a dot ball to wrap up the over. Just 1 run in the over, and 1 for none is the score after the first over.
The two batters for Jinja Senior Secondary School having a little chat in the middle. Achenga and Nalukenge making sure that communication is key between them. They've already faced off one over, but it hasn't really been lucrative for them, picking up only one run, but they will be happy that one over for Erin Mutonyi is done. But the new bowler, Nademba, will be bowling from the city end. A short run up there, but the wicketkeeper again standing a little bit behind the stumps. And now this will be the over that Jinja should be looking to get runs off. You don't have to get two overs that are not good in your side. And it will be Nalukenge on strike taking on Nademba. Already bowling from a little bit with an angled run up.
Yeah, Irene Nademba into the attack there for St. John's. There was some bit of width, but the ball drifting away from the batter. Nalukenge, Leila not really in the frame to hit that one away.
Yes, you can see the plan. Erin Mutonyi at deep extra covers. I won't be surprised to see Nalukenge trying to maybe play with that sweeper, but there is protection, and that's why the bowler is trying to bowl it a little bit outside the lane of the stumps and to play with this with her field. Really good setup there, but I would love to see Nalukenge trying to move a little bit and align herself with the ball, or maybe play the ball so late. And as it seems, she's trying to do that. A little bit full on that occasion, but it's another dot ball. 3 dot balls already. Dealing in dot ball at the moment is St. John's, and they have bowled 9 dot balls in this over so far, rather in this game so far.
Jinja has taken a cautious approach. The two batters who've been sent in to bat to open the batting have really made sure that they play so many cautious shots, not taking any risks. And currently it's St. John's who are ahead in terms of the game. She goes for a drive. The Davis chipped in at point, but there will be work to do for Irene Mutonyi, doing the super roll and running in from the extra cover region. But that will only be a single for Jinja Secondary School, and it will be their first runs on board.
Off the bat, it will be the first run, but beautiful fielding there. An attempted dive at point, but Irene Mutonyi had a long journey to cover, but she only stopped the ball for one.
She displays a lot of athleticism, Irene Mutonyi. And I tell you, she does a lot of good work, making sure that she does that sweeper roll. 1 run off the second, and 2 for no loss is the score after 2 overs. It's turning out to be an issue of concern for the Jinja Secondary School team, because when you look at what they have on board, clearly runs aren't coming their way. You need to make sure that you're moving at least 6 every over. It could see you end at around 120. And in the context of this tournament, maybe we'll have something defendable. But Mutonyi Irene is back into the attack for for St. John's Secondary School.
Yeah, Irene Mutonyi coming again to the attack. She had a very good over that only went for 1. 2 straight fielders behind the keeper, the fine leg and third man. Because of her express pace, that backup is much needed, but all the other fielders are inside the inner ring. The bowling tandem here for St. John's is working out already. 2 runs on board. They wouldn't mind to bring them again and maybe try and control the power play. because it is that phase of the game that the batters always look to capitalize on.
There is an appeal, and the umpire says yes. The first wicket for Jinja Secondary School goes. Irene Mutonyi making inroads. It will be LBW as Nalukenge Leila falls first for Jinja Senior Secondary School.
Such a beautiful delivery there from Irene Mutonyi. She has always tried to attack the stumps, and this time round gets the breakthrough. The first wicket falling for only 2 runs. She comes in at the point where they needed to get runs, but the desperation for Jinja Senior Secondary School to try and take on Mutonyi. We saw the uncasual shot there from Nalukenge going across the lane. Really too full. Tries to play around the pad, drives the inner pad into the shot, and the leg dropping, going on the onside, and in the end, the wicket falling in that style. It will be a really bad start for Jinja at the moment. Tumwebaze Ruth coming in at number 3. And now it is a blow given to Jinja SS. But now these 2 batters need to settle. They don't need to lose another wicket in a period of no instant. Irene Mutonyi just bowling 1 ball in her second over. Comes into the attack straight away. This is really quick off the surface, drawing her lane a little bit backward. And you can see that Ruth wasn't in any good position to play that ball.
Something that would concern is that Ruth Tumwebaze left Herbert hanging instead of trying to drive that ball on. You may feather it if you don't go firm. Some sharp outswing there, but undone by the wicket keeper. What could have been a dot ball results into a by run.
It's always a concern for the wicket keeper when Irene Mutonyi is bowling. She has really given so many extras behind the stumps of Irene's bowling. But it's only a matter of time to figure that out. Maybe try and be a little bit behind. Make sure that she doesn't give only freebies. Very good play. This time round, very good play. Coming forward and just opening up the face of the bat and letting the ball roll.
It's match day 4 of the Skyview Girls Schools Cricket Week Tournament. The group stage games came to an end in the morning, and now we have 2 types of games going on, the Super 8 and the placement matches. The top 2 in every group have been placed in 2 groups, and only 2 from those 2 groups will advance to the semi-finals in this tournament. Whereas the teams that are playing in the placement will also have their final, which will have a trophy as well. But now this is the cream of this tournament that has been put in the Super 8, the top 8 teams in the tournament out of the 20 teams. Nearly had that one roll to the stumps and nearly had herself into trouble. But it will be a run to mark at the end of the 3rd. An over that started with a wicket, 1 by run and 2 singles at the back end. A big opponent and 1 single at the back end, and as we come to the end of the 3rd, 4 for 1 is the score.
A real good start here for St. John's Secondary School at the moment, picking up a wicket and only going for 4 runs after 3. You get a feeling that they will get a breather of the power play. But the new bowler, bowling her second, is Nademba She really put in a good show at the start, only going for one run, but her lanes have really been so good because she hasn't strayed away at the pads. She has always bowled with her field placements, bowling on the offside, and try to play with Erin Mutonyi, who is at deep extra covers.
Yeah, this opening bowling partnership for St. John's Secondary School has been Goldie Dust. Irene Mutonyi bowling in pair with Irene Nademba. Two namesakes right in there. Both of them doing a lot of good work. And when you look at the groups of the SPA 8, in Group A, there is Olida High School, Mount St. Henry's High School, Jinja Secondary School, and St. John's High School. This clash that you're watching in your frames is from Group A. And when you look at Group B, it has Masindi SS, Late SS, Sacred Heart SS, and Masaka SS. Interesting clash this afternoon here in Gulu City as we get close to the business end. The leading sponsors of this edition are Skyview. Skyview, the makers of Skyview Fruit, Skyview Apple, Skyview Citrus, and Skyview Orange. They are joined by Movit Products Limited. Have made sure that all the players, including us, the officials in this tournament, we do get a taste of the Movit products, including the all-day Choco toothpaste, lemon, hand and body cream, not forgetting the family soap. But we're Uganda Limited are broadcast partners with Cricket Uganda, making sure that this tournament comes to you live, and Scully are logistics partners. The dot balls start the over and a single on the fourth ball. A full ball dispatched, and the catch is taken there by Gilingish Shadia Nabulime. Looked like she could have maybe squandered it away, but in the end she gets hold onto it. The second wicket for Jinja the Secondary School goes, and it's a bad ball, a full toss that does pick for them another wicket.
Tell you the ends justify the means. Even a loose ball in cricket can get a batter out. Look at that full toss, finding a fielder well positioned at the bound, at the circle of the 30, but taken so well. More so a wicket of Tumwebaze Ruth, who yesterday against Sacred Heart scored 29 after the top order batters, the openers had failed, all had suffered ducks there. She came in and scored 29 and held her team and saw them score 71 that they went on later and defended. And now she has to depart without struggling, rather without doing anything for her team. Goes for 0. And in comes Namagoba Sheila, the captain, coming in at number 4. Everything isn't going Jinja's way as they would have loved. But a wicket for Nademba, whose lines have really been so good. But finishing up the over with the dot ball. 1 run off that, but more so a wicket of Ruth Tumwebazi. And now the score is 5 for 2 after 4. Namagoba Sheila yesterday scored 12 of 16, playing against Sacred Heart. And now she comes in at a point where a partnership is inmate there for Jinja. They need a partnership desperately if they are to post a very good score. A new bowling change. Kisachi coming from replacing Erin Mutonyi. Starts away with a no ball, too wide off the mat. and the umpire calling it a no ball. Little bit of an ego in her walking there. I wonder whether she's okay or not. And she has to mark her run up and has to reball that. A no ball to start the over. That will be a reprieve for Acheng. She can free up her hands.
Free hit there from Erin Nademba. A shimmy down the track, and that is a hit. Electric. She gets it on the full and dispatches it past the long on boundary. Breaks the shackles. And Elizabeth Acheng has the first boundary for Jinja Senior Secondary School.
More often than not, we've seen Acheng coming down the wicket so many times in this tournament. And that has always been her go-to option, playing the free hit. She knows that even if she misses, the wicket keeper can't stamp her. That is the liberty you get playing the free hit.
Well left alone there by Elizabeth Acheng. She knew it was a free hit and she went hard at it. But now it's a dot ball and a bit of a breather for Kisache Jane. I beg your pardon, she's Kisache Jovia. Jovia going to the pads and it's another dot ball. Back-to-back dot balls there for St. John's Senior Secondary School, and it will now be a breather for them because they don't want to be conceding many. They know Jinja SS has some handy bowlers, including Mariam Biriwawa and Sheila Namagoba. So you don't need to let them get so many runs. You need to make sure that you limit them as much as you can and come out and give it a chase. But the wides have been the issue of concern there for St. John's Secondary School, as now runs are flowing.
I tell you, the changes that St. John's have done in this game. We saw St. John's yesterday going for Giringish Shadia Navuli made to bowl the first over alongside Nampera Sonia when they were playing against Masaka, but this time round they go for those changes, coming in with Irene Mutonya at the top, who has really done a great job.
But I think the changes they are being done by the coaches because of the changes in the surface. When you look at this surface, it will favor the seamers. And the two opening bowlers that we did speak about, Navuli Meglingish and Sonia Nampera, are both slow bowlers. So because the ball comes quick to the blade, you need to make sure that they come in at a time when you have spread your field and you're using the protection, maybe after the power play. So you have to keep your seamers into the attack and make sure that they are bowling the good areas so that you stand up a big chance. Driven down the ground and past to the fielder. There was an half-hearted effort, but it will be the fielders, the boundary raiders, to get that one and manage to cut off that boundary.
It's a long pocket here towards the commentary box. And when you play that ball in that gap, you really have to run so hard for your runs. Beautiful shot. And another good use of the feet from Acheng. Like you said, Ivan, the wicket will not really favor the spinners so well. So when do you normally bring them? You will have to bring them on when the field is open. You have the field restrictions to 4. That's when you can really utilize the spinners.
One more ball in this over. Fortunate, and it's already a good over for Jinja SS. It will be a dot ball to wrap up the over, but what an over. 8 runs coming off this over, and as we come to the end of the 5th, 13 for 2 is the score. And if you're just joining us, Jinja Secondary School won the toss and opted to bat first in this Super 8 match. It's a Group A clash happening between these two teams. One thing synonymous about these two teams, they both have players who have picked up fifers in this tournament. Nampera Sonia being the player who took the fifer for St. John's Secondary School, whereas Mariam Biriwawa is the player who took the fifer for the Jinja Senior Secondary School team. And there is a bowling change. We will see a spinner coming into the attack. The leading wicket taker in this tournament with 11 scalps. With the change, Sonia Nampera. A FIFA yesterday against Masaka SS in the morning clash. And the FIFA earlier on in the tournament will be now coming in to bowl.
I tell you one thing that has really caught my eye about Sonia's bowling is her control. The way how she controls that lane bowling leg spin isn't always that simple.
It wasn't a very good ball for her to start off the over, Sonia Nampera. You need to make sure that the ball is pitching. Clearly you saw that as it came too full to Shilana Magoba, she was trying to dispatch it past the deep mid-wicket area. But she didn't go for enough power and timing, and it was just hit right to the fielder. Another full toss, but Sheila goes across and misses. By runs is what they will take it. Somehow undone by the wicket keeper.
I tell you, it was a loose ball, but also played loosely there from the captain, because I get a feeling that it almost ended onto the stumps. Like I told you, it isn't always easy to control leg spin, but better she comes this time round. Hits those good areas that all leg spinners will love to hit. And it's only about how long can she do that.
Yes, the fielder was standing right at gully is sent backwards. But that full toss again hit. Fumbled by the fielder at square leg, and a chance for Jinja SS to pick up another run. I tell you, it will be a punch-for-punch game because these two teams are both regional champions. And whoever wins here has an upper hand, because in this group there is Olida High School. So you need to make sure that you win and build momentum going forward into that match. Beats the outside edge of the bat, and it's another dot ball for Sonia Nampera.
Very well said there, Ivan, that any team that wins here stands a very big chance of going to the next stage, given that there is even Olira, who are the biggest in this team, rather in this group.
But a hit down the ground, a hit past the fielders in the inner field. Another loose ball there coming in from Sonia Nampera, and a boundary to wrap up the over. As we come to the end of the power play, scoreboard reads 19 for a loss of 2 wickets.
It will be a reprieve for Jinja at the moment, given how the last 2 overs have gone about, picking boundaries in the last 2 overs. It could give them a breather. And now, with 6 overs done, and the field restrictions are at 4 at the moment, deep extra covers, deep mid wickets are the only options that St. John's has gone with at the moment. Now Naulime, the captain, should think about exploring all the options she has. Should she continue with that attacking field, or would you love to see her open up and defend?
Kisache Jovia back into the bowling attack for St. John's Secondary School. Good areas there, fall into the crease, and it's dubbed down.
I love the fact that Acheng is trying to come forward and drop the ball. Even when she's coming to drop, she hasn't shown that she's dropping the ball towards the fielders, but she's exploiting an option of just running it down.
This time round driven into the gap. They will do take the single. Yes, Secondary School will need to make sure that they get a partnership in this game. Leila Narukenge falling early for the side.
It will really be so bad for St. John's if they let this phase go through, because they had really controlled the power play, but these two bowlers, rather batters, are seeming to take the control of the game at the moment, and they are seeming to build confidence. The captain in your frame, Sheila Namagoba, already earned her cap at the national team, the Victoria Pearls. That's that tournament of the Easter Women's T20 Cup in Entebbe.
Yashila will be just hoping that she can continue making the mark for her school as well. But a quick update in the other games. In the placement games, Ndeje Secondary School is taking on Soroti Secondary School at the Graceland Girls Ground. Ndeje SS is currently batting. They are 26 for 5 because Soroti SS won the toss and opted to bowl. That full toss is hit, but there is a fielder. Irene Morton with the catch. And Sheila Namugova, who tried to go hard at the full toss, will be the third batter to depart for Jinja Secondary School. 20 for 3 as the St. John's Secondary School celebrates another wicket.
A beautiful take there and a beautiful setup. Every shot that has been played, you feel that it is played to the fielders. Very good captainess. Another full toss played around the pad, skied up, but Erin Mutonyi rolling and taking that catch, completing it beautifully. And the third wicket falling for only 20.
I tell you, following that dismiss of fortunate, I cannot fault the captain Sheila Namagova because it was a full toss and the idea was good for her to make sure that she capitalizes at it. Unfortunately, she got enough elevation, but not distance. Erin Motoni running in from the deep mid-wicket area towards the cow corner to complete that catch and earn St. John's another wicket. Tahiana Sona is the new batter in, but I tell you, somehow the innings have failed to get going for Jinja Secondary School. Speaking about the updates in the other games, at Leiby Ground B, that's right behind us. There's a high school, one the toss and opted to bat first against Renzori High School, but Gayaza is currently 28 for 2 after 6 overs. Nyakasura School is taking on St. Cornelius SS at the Gulu Prison Primary Ground. St. Cornelius won the toss and opted to bowl first, and Nyakasura is 35 for 2. Masindi Secondary School is taking on Late Secondary School. That game is happening at the Leiby Ground C. Late won the toss and opted to bowl. And the Masindi Secondary School is 11 for 3 after 5.4 overs. Mount St. Henry's High School is taking on Olida High School at the Gulu High School ground. Mount won the toss and opted bat first, and they are currently 28 for 1 after 9.5 overs. And as we come to the end of the 7th over here at the Leiby main ground, 20 for 3 is the score.
Nasunat Tahia coming in at number 5. We see a change in the batting order for Jinja, that they just push Asha Mukite, who has always been number 5 batter for Jinja, backwards. They are trying to exploit the option of the left-hander where there is Sonia bowling. They want to try and get those matchups. You don't want to expose all the right-handers to the left, to the leg spinner, but a good tactic there used by Jinja to bring in Nasun at this moment.
Full toss hit down, but there is a fielder, and just a single they will do take. Asha Mukite, that you did mention about, has a half century in this tournament, and the half century was against Good Heart Secondary School Bugembe. in a game where Jinja SS posted 198 runs. It's a tournament. When you get a team that you can beat, you have to beat them quite well. Try and make sure that you don't give them any chance. But currently it's St. John's who are ahead in terms of the game. 21-3 means that the projected score might be in the 60s because the current run rate is just 2 every over. And it's already something of concern for Jinja SS. She goes to drive but doesn't cover the line of the ball. Nasu Natahia. A few years ago, Nasu Natahia was a player and captain for the Jinja Association of Cricket Clubs, Jack. But currently she is a player for Olida. I beg your pardon, for Jinja SS Cricket Club school team. Whereas for Sonia Nampera plays for Wanderers Cricket Club. Her alongside Gilingish Nabulime and Erin Moton in our domestic league. But a very good over in the making there for Nampera Sonia. A single and back-to-back dot balls in that over. Making the third dot ball.
Look at that loop on the ball. Really beautiful to watch from the leg spinner. But at the moment, even the matchup seems not to be so favorable. The left-hander to the leg spinner. But I see the bold shots there from Tahia, trying to come forward and reach the bounce of the ball. It's really good to watch.
Yeah, she should just make sure that she pushes it a little harder as the fielders. That full toss will be hit into the gap. A bit casual there from the fielder. And Jinja SS will take the run. 2 in the over. And after 8, 22-3 is the score. I beg your pardon, there is a ball to play in this over. But those are the girls of Masaka Secondary School. They are also in the Group B of the Super 8. The fielder trying to use her leg to stop that one, but it will go all the way to the boundary. And it will be a boundary to wrap up the over.
A beautiful boundary to finish up the over. But I love the confidence that Acheng is playing. Coming down the ground, fully committed to come down the ground. Doesn't hesitate a little bit, finding the ball on the up and playing it so fine. The fielder was a little bit not at the boundary, but a little bit hanging somewhere in between. And that allowed Jinja SS to finish the over with a boundary. 36-3. It's after 8 overs.
And there will be another bowling change for St. John's Secondary School. Jovia Kisache out of the attack. And the captain, Nabulime Shadia Gilingish, is now into the attack. In her field, deep square leg, deep mid wicket at the boundary, with the 2 fielders on the off, extra cover, and another fielder waiting at long off. Good start there for Shadia, and it will be a dot ball to start her over.
Shadia coming to this game after bowling 4 overs yesterday against Masaka. That went for only 17 runs at an economy of 4.25, but most importantly picked 1 wicket. And now starting with 2 dot balls in a row. Doesn't really push the ball, but always relies at the from that flight. Gives the ball a little air, and it has always been working for her. In this tournament it has.
She goes for a quick one, but she will be happy that Nasu Natahia did hit that one down the leg. Every time you ball it quick, you try to tend to tell the batters to hit you using your own power. It's up in the air, and the wicket keeper will do the rest. A take by the wicket keeper and another wicket for St. John's Secondary School. Yeah, but a beautiful take there by Judith Nakasaga, the wicketkeeper by St. John's Secondary School. And now Jinja Aces will need to hit out of the blocks to try and make sure that they get something they can bowl at. Scored 7-1 in their previous games. In their previous game against Sacred Heart. But then they will need to make sure that they get a little more than that, given the quality of batters that St. John's Secondary School possesses. In Nakasaga, Judith Hassoff, Irene Mutoni, and Shadia Gilingish Nawulime. Asha Mukite, one of the half-centurions in this tournament, is now the new batter in. Unfortunately, I tell you, a lot of responsibility rests on her shoulders. She will need to make sure that she can bat as long as she can and as hard as she can to make sure that Jinja SS gets something that they can bowl at.
That will be another simple touch to get one run. So well. But a single to finish up the over. 9 overs gone and 27 for 4. One over left to reach the halfway mark of this inning. And what option does the captain bring? Does she stick with Sonia? Does she change? But this time round she goes for Nademba, who bowled decently, picked one wicket in the power play. And now she will come in hoping to pick a wicket of Mukite, who now possesses a threat. Yesterday scored 11, no out. That clash against St. Teresa. But she has really been so committed to that front foot. And everything will be about attacking the stumps, playing with the stumps. Really bold drive there. Bold drive from Mukite. Mukite making sure that she keeps the scoreboard ticking. That is the dugout of the dugout of St. John's, under the shade, watching how the proceedings are going here at St. Joseph's College Laibi. The coach for Masaka. And again, dot balls are working in favor of St. John's. They have really worked with so many dot balls, and they bowled so many of them. And that is the reason as to why the score is only 28.
Yeah, there is some bit of dot ball pressure coming the way of the batters because we need to hit out of the blocks. And now Jinja has started taking care of the wicket column. But they should smile a little more because Elizabeth Acheng and Mukite Asha are those two batters who can really hit the ball around. These two batters taking their time to grow into the game. She made down the track, but she makes full access, though she doesn't drive through the lane, and it's another dot ball.
She has done that so many times in this over. She knows that Nademba is not bowling that really quick, so shuffling across the crease, making sure that she doesn't stick to her lane. As a bowler, it gets you wondering, but this time round, driven on the offside.
And I think it doesn't make any sense for you to jump out of your crease and you block. You rather remain on your crease, wait for a ball to become a little shorter and hit it away. Or make sure that you stick in your crease and just drop it down. 3 runs in the over, and as we come to the end of the halfway mark, after 10 overs, scoreboard reads 29 for a loss of 4 wickets. Not a very good passage of play for Jinja Senior Secondary School.
Sometimes you're trying to go down or come down the crease to make sure that you reach the bounce of the ball. But when you come down the crease and you don't reach the bounce and you intend not to hold your horses, you might find that you're hanging the ball around. So I would again go with that saying, coming down the ground and not reaching the bounce and again blocking, because at the moment they don't have to rush because she's trying to control the innings already. 31 balls she has faced, but only 16. They don't need to lose a wicket at the moment, just hold in a little bit. We saw yesterday St. John's scored 51 runs, 56 runs, so it was a matter of trying to get to that 50 runs. Maybe Jinja can get a chance of defending that run.
Gilingisha and Olime back into the attack for St. John's Secondary School. Starts with a very loose ball there. It was a bit full to the batter. Do not hit down to the deep square leg or deep mid wicket area. A slog sweep could have given Jinja SS maximum rewards. She goes short and it's pulled away, pulled into the gap and pulled all the way for a boundary. A welcoming boundary for Jinja Secondary School given the passage of play.
Tell you, a half tracker gets the much deserved punishment. Nabli Megringish has really missed her lane on that, but what a shot it has been from Mukiti. Lining with the ball, holding a little bit from the back foot there, but the placement was really nice to beat the fielder deep mid wickets.
Yeah, Asha Mukita showing too much strength on the onside. As a bowler, you need to do what Gilingish is doing at the moment. Ball outside off stump and make sure that you're forcing her to play to the extra cover fielder. Good comeback, back dots there for Nabulime.
Yeah, it's really a good comeback. She realizes that she did a mess of her bowling and now she corrects the lane and bowls in the right areas.
2 fall and the edge is not taken by the wicket keeper. Asha Mukite going for a booming drive, but Nakasaga Judith not getting hold onto that one. An opportunity created and an opportunity squandered away.
Those are always lucky runs with no slip in place. Maybe she would have stopped that or taken that catch, but always that would be a lucky shot. Again, a little shimmy. Mutonyi has to do the running, but couldn't stop that despite the efforts trying to stop it in the boundary, inside the boundary. But in the end, it's another boundary. Again, trying a little shimmy down the wicket there. Mutonyi putting in a dive and roll, but couldn't stop it because it had so much pace on it. And what an expensive over this has been. 10 from it, and it is 39 after 11 for the loss of 4 wickets. And with 9 overs left, if these two batters, Acheng and Mukiti, continue playing the way how they are playing, they can see their team reach that 70-run mark, in my own opinion, because they've sensed that there is urgency to go through the gears, and they picked boundaries with ease. A new bowler, Kisache, bowling from the school end. Bowled the first 3 overs so well and only picked 1 wicket, but sorry, not another rotation of strike there, but the bowler is Nademba. Not such as a hard side, but in the tier fly there for our sponsors, the Sky View. Sky View, our main sponsors of this tournament, making sure that the players get the different flavors of the soft drinks. Shout out to our sponsor Skyview.
Another feather past the wicket keeper. Work to do by Shadia Glingish. Oh, sorry, that's not Shadia Glingish. But the fielder running in from the third man boundary, cutting off that one.
Tell you that was another chance. If you look at the wicket keeper, she doesn't stay down. She sees that Acheng is moving around the crease and she wants to come up to the stumps, and in the end finds herself in a poor position. Another chance, rather another outside edge there. Not aiming so well the ball. These two batters, Mukiti and Acheng, off this bowling. Ready to outside edges there.
They are currently scoring 3.5 every over, meaning the projected score is 70. That's hit away. Full toss to the pads and hit towards the deep square leg. Another boundary for Jinja Secondary School.
Yeah, beautiful shot, really beautiful. Just using the wrists there, and they get the much deserved boundary. The boundaries have really come with ease in these last 3 overs, but finishing up the over with 6 runs from it. And again, in your frame there, our partners of this tournament, Movit. They are the hygiene partners, making sure that the girls' hygiene is always in check.
One thing that turned out to be funny for me today in the morning, I just realized that where I am staying at the hotel, the type of soap that I'm using is the Movit. What we're calling the name? Is it Movit shower something? But it's also a Movit product, so it clearly tells you the good work being done by our sponsors. Kisache, Jovia into the attack. And now Acheng Elizabeth and Mukite Asha are showing some bit of urgency. They have started hitting the blocks and making sure that they bring up runs for Jinja Secondary School. 70 runs will not be an easy chase for St. John's Secondary School, so they are making sure that they maintain that scoring rate to try and make sure that they end close to that mark. Dot ball, goldie dust for St. John's Secondary School. They will need more of these. Try and make sure that they keep the game a bit close. All day confidence, Movit Products Limited, making sure that the hygiene for our little girls is taken care of. Full toss, but not dispatched. She goes for a Yorker and just bowls it close to that wide line. Another dot ball for Joviak Sache. Back-to-back dot balls. Much needed. Full toss, hit down the ground. Nampera Sonia with work to do at long on and manages to cut off that one very nicely. It's a Spa 8 clash from Group A happening here at Laibi. I see the teacher in charge of cricket from Gayaza High School, Mr. Charles Samogere, sitting alongside the coach for Sacred Heart Secondary School in Joseph Joma Biarhanga. Just making sure that they come here at St. Joseph's College Laibi to watch the action. And where they are sitting, they can watch action from all the three grounds. One more ball to play in this over by Kisachi. Shimmy down the track, she pulls it away, but it is beautifully fielded, cutting off that boundary. If it had gone past the fielder, chasing it may not have paid rewards. 3 runs in the over, and as we come to the end of the 13th, 48 for 4 is what Jinja SS has on board. It's match day number 4 of the Skyview Girls Schools Cricket League Tournament here in Gulu City. For the second consecutive year, Gulu City is hosting this prestigious tournament. The tournament being expanded to 20 teams from the 16 that came here last year. Sonia Nampera back into the attack. She has so far bowled 2 overs. She is wicketless, but she has conceded only 11 runs. She'll be bowling some leg spin. One to the pads. And the batter not showing any urgency, but that's the dugout there for Jinja Secondary School. Not so many happy faces in that dugout because they know they are not getting so many runs on their board. And these dot balls will mean even more pressure. Even though wickets at hand are not runs at hand, but with the 6 wickets at hand, Jinja SS should try and make sure that they hit the ball around. Hit inside out short, but there is a fielder waiting at extra cover, Irene Mutoni, and it will only be a single. And this is what Jinja SS needs to be doing most of the times in this game. Try and make sure that you look for the singles, get more runs on board, so that when you come around in the second innings, you have something to bowl at. Hit off the pads, but to the fielder, they went running round it. But Jinja SS not capitalizing to take that run. Another googly there coming in from Sonia Nampera, and it's another dotty ball. I think Jinja SS knows the risk of trying to attack Sonia Nampera because they know how leather she is. Because she comes into this game with 11 wickets. So they're trying to make sure that they see her off so that they can capitalize on the other bowlers. The dot ball will bring us to the end of the over. Just 1 run in the 14th. The scoreboard reads 49 for a loss of 4 wickets. Nabuli Meshadia, the captain for St. John's Secondary School, will be coming in to bowl her final over. She's a foul ball, Lithian conceded 10. Showing it down the track and the stamping. She was miles away from making her ground. Elizabeth Acheng trying to improvise and trying to dance down the ground to make full access. She goes across but doesn't connect. Judith Nakasaga completes the stamping, and Jinja Secondary School loses the 9th wicket. Went out of her crease early. Shadia Glingish WM bowling it too wide. And Elizabeth Acheng not in position to make her ground again. She'd held the innings with 25 of 42. But that will mean that she'll have to walk back to the dugout, trying to improvise and trying to capitalize. That full ball there by Shadia Glingish. It's another wicket for Jinja Secondary School that has fallen. And now Tikabula Rashida makes her way to the crease. The battle between Nabuli Meshadia and Tikabula Rashida is an interesting one, because these two both played for Uganda under 19 in the World Cup qualifiers that happened in 2024 in Kigali. Too much flight on the offer. And Rashida Tikabula not falling for the trap. It's another dot ball in the over. Well, left alone, another dot ball.
A really good over this is turning out to be, but most importantly, picking a wicket of a set batter, Acheng, who was trying to show that she had built confidence. And so many times we haven't seen the tail end of Jinja come into play in a situation where they don't have runs on board. And now batter number 7 coming into the attack when they have only 49 runs. Still, they need a partnership that had settled, that of Acheng and Mukiti. But these bowlers have not been anywhere relentless with their bowling. But good over already with one more ball left.
A bit full and driven down the ground. It will be a single onto the total for Jinja Secondary School, and that single will bring up the 50 runs for the team. As we come to the end of the 15th over, 51 for 5 is the score. Jinja Secondary School won in the toss and opted to bat first, but the runs have not been coming so easy their way. And in the remaining 30 balls, they'll need to make sure that they go at least a run, a ball, to make sure that they get close to the 70s, the 80s, so that they can come later and maybe bowl to it.
But at the moment, St. John's Secondary School, Mukono should be very happy with the way how things are at the moment, being asked to come in and bowl, and had an early start of the game, picking 2 wickets in the power play. But now the new bowler, Kisake Jovia, coming in from the school end. But fielding has not really been superb. You won't love that, especially the way how they have give extra runs. That is an extra, I might call, because she really reset the ball and again fumbled, allowed Mukite to get off, rather to get the second run. And now it is her who is trying to control the innings.
Another full toss that is hit. And it goes all the way to the boundary for 4 runs. Kisache Jane in her last over, she's not been so tight compared to the way she has been bowling previously.
A really beautiful shot there from Mukite. A full toss put to full punishment, but strong wrists, really strong wrists. Look at that. Hitting it with a full bat flow into the shot and picking up a much deserved boundary on the onside, forcing a field change. Imagine what the other run that was given meant to that. It wouldn't have been Mukite on strike. But now Kisache Jovia coming in and bowling to the tighter lanes there. She gave away a freebie that was hit for a boundary, but now coming in and bowling that lane shows that she has learned it the hard way.
Joviak saturate in her final over. Jinja SS with 57 for 5 after 15.3 overs. It's the accelerating phase of the game, and now they are making sure that they go hard in these final 5 overs. Driven down the ground, but beautifully fielded by the fielder, cutting that one off. One of the things that Coach Mugala coaches so well at Jinja SS is the drive shot, on drive and off drive, plus running between the wickets. Clearly, when you see the players that have gone through his hands, they tend to be so good at driving and even running between the wickets. Touch and go. Yes, they do take the run.
A little bit backward this time round, but Mukite is really up to the task again, waiting on it a little bit longer, placing it in a gap there and picking up 1 run. Good rotation of strike. 7 runs already in this over with 1 more ball left.
It will be a dot ball to mark at the end to the spell of Joviak Sache. She's given away 19 runs in her 4 overs, and she's picked up only a single wicket. And as we come to the end of the 16th over, the score is 58 for 5.
Tikaula Rashida coming in at this stage of the game where only 26 balls left, and as a batting unit you are looking at getting that score to at least 80 runs, and in my opinion you have to go through the gears in one way or the other, because all these 2 batters are capable players, are capable batters. But Irene Mutonye bowled 2 overs and now will come in to bowl her 3rd. And I feel it is the right time she comes in to bowl her 3rd over. Try and get a breakthrough here.
And she's been so economical so far. Her 2 overs have gone for just 2 runs and she's picked up a wicket. So she will need to make sure that she continues hitting that hard length. And now the batters will cautiously know that we need to play out Irene Mutoni, because she possesses a lot of threat every time she comes with the ball in her arms.
I love the way how the batters of Jinja have played out Mtonyi. They know she has that ability of picking wickets, but they have looked on to try and not take her on. They have respected her abilities, and every time they have tried to come on the front foot and only drop the ball, and that will allow them to rotate the strike, and it will beat Kabula, who is on strike now. She has only faced 5 balls and scored 1 run, but that will be A good sign to Mutonyi, knowing that she will be bowling to a batter who has not set into the game. One ball that is really full will mean that could be very good to St. John's at the moment. Just get one ball that is really sharp, right at the money. But not with those extras. Because the batter who is not set has not got his eye, rather her eye in, hasn't gotten her feet moving. So one good ball could mean that there could be a chance of going through her block holes.
Yeah, somehow St. John's failing to apply more pressure onto these lower order batters. Stepping close, but leaving it alone. Rashid Atikabula.
Really quiet passage of play. You could see all the fielders in for St. John's have been quiet. They got early wickets, they were excited, but now the game has been really quiet at their side. Those are the extras that always piss Mutonyi off. You look at her holding her waist, knowing that the keeper should have done a little bit more to stop that. Of the great effort she's putting in, and extras have always found her way.
She's putting in indeed good effort, making sure that she bowls that off stump line. Just making sure that she puts the edge of the bat into play. 21 Asha, she's really holding the innings for the team. But Rashida Kabla will need also to hit out of her blocks, make sure that she gets runs. That is driven gloriously. Shadia Glingish Navulime with work to do at longer on, a bigger pardon, longer off. But the batters capitalizing and making sure that they pick up two. This is what I told you about Fortunate. The running between the wickets for a team coached by Mugaula Habib will always be different.
Yes, Ivan, you've played with players that have gone through that coaching of Mugalula, the likes of Pius Oluka, the likes of Sohera, the likes of Paul Mulongo. They have really been good runners in between the wicket. And I tell you, it can also be shown in the ladies' cricket.
A good draw pace there from Irene Motoni, and that will bring us to the end of the 17th over. Jinja Secondary School has 63 runs for a loss of 5 wickets.
$80 runs is still within quotation, is still within the reach for Jinja at the moment, given that they still have 5 wickets in play. But with only 18 balls left, now it's a matter of bringing on good bowlers at the right time, right bowlers, right time. And it's all that the captain has to do, make the good calls. And who is to bowl the 17th over, rather the 18th over. Mutonyi is left with 1 over, Giringish left with 1 over, Sonia left with 1 over. Now to balance the 3 bowlers.
And I think now it will be Giringish bowling her last over. But based on the conditions, you can bring Sonia Nampera to bowl the 19th over, because these batters have been showing aggression, and Erin Muton has been the most hit down to the sweeper, putting down her body and stopping that one, and they will only take a single.
I tell you, she's looking so good when she's fighting the ball a little bit in the air, but when she tries to push that ball, it's when she gives away a loose delivery. I would love to see her bowl with that control, not try to push the ball. Let the batters do generate the energy other than just giving pace on the ball.
A bit full and driven down. One thing that Mukite Asha and Tikawula Rashida have done is try and make sure that they keep the scoreboard ticking for the Jinja Senior Secondary School team. Poor delivery there from Shadia Gililish Naulime, and it is hit. Somehow the non-strikers Andy Batter was caught napping, but she managed to take off very quickly, and they do take another single.
Yes, those singles will mean that so runs in the last stage of the game are coming for Jinja. This time round on the offside, some spin on the ball, but there is a fielder Mutonyi at deep extra covers, stopping it for another dot ball, rather single. And I tell you, at the moment, singles won't really hurt St. John's at the moment because they have cut off all the boundary options.
Yeah, but brilliant work there done by Irene Morton cutting that one off. At this time of the game, it is only singles, but somehow Jinja SS getting close to that 78 runs mark. And as we come to the end of the 18th over, 68 for 5 is the score. Mukite Asha with the 25 of 30 and Tikawula Rashida with 4 of 11.
Two overs left in this inning, and the penultimate over has to be bowled by Erin Mutonyi, who has really been decent in the last 3 overs that she has bowled. Now coming in and to bowl to these 2 set batters, but most importantly for St. John's is that Tikawula is the one on strike.
What a ball there coming in from Irene Motoni. And it's a good ball to start off the penultimate over. Irene has bowled 3 overs and she's conceded just 6 runs with only a single wicket that came in her first over. And Irene Morton is making sure that she keeps these batters in check. And she makes sure that she hits some good areas. And it's another wicket there. Tikawula Rashida going across the line. Irene Morton with a very straight ball. And she manages to get rid of Rashida. It's another wicket, the 6th for St. John's Secondary School.
It has taken Mutonyi 5 balls to clean the batter up. She was always looking for that straight ball, but most importantly for St. John, rather for Jinja SS, is that Mukite is still in there trying to make sure that she plays out the overs, but the new batter, a ball comes in at number 8 for Jinja. Erin Mutonyi picking up the second ball. All the efforts that she has put in, look at that. Some swing she has bowled with, some pace she has really put in, and all her efforts can't go in vain. 2 wickets already with 4 more balls left. She still stands a chance of picking 3 or 4 wickets, because with the new batters, you only have to go for the bull's eye.
Yeah, she's made sure that she bowls just the good areas. Maureen Abo. I beg your pardon, Erin Mutoni. And now Maureen Abo is the new batter in for Jinja Secondary School. That's the replay there. The ball was swinging away from her. Rashida Tikawula trying to hit it to the onside, but in the end the ball going on and hitting the off stump. Irene Mutton to Abo Maureen. 1 to the pads, but Maureen hits it on the full. And you see 68 for 6 on board. this will be a very competitive total as we progress with this game.
Really competitive, I might say, because you can't take away how good Jinja's bowling is. They really have so many beautiful bowlers, and so far, most of the bowlers, they already have a bowler who has picked 5 wickets. But equal to the task there is Abu Marion, who has just walked in but has played so well, trying to play out all the balls for Erin Mutonyi.
Indeed, brilliant batting there from Maureen Abo, making sure that she doesn't give away her wicket easily. She knows even though they don't score in this over, there is another over that they can capitalize on. In the end, this time round, she doesn't manage to close her gates. That sharp outswing from Erin Morton gives her another wicket. 2 wickets in the over as Jinja Secondary School loses the 8th.
Real beautiful delivery there from Erin Mutonyi. A little bit dropping the pace there and rolling her fingers around the ball. And the ball getting that little movement of the surface. She has really bowled those 2 wickets to perfection. She has gone for full deliveries, very full, that the batters have not had any clue about the balls, and finishes up her spell. Only 1 ball rather left into her spell, but picking 3 wickets.
The 1 more ball for Erin Morton in this over. And she will be making sure that she wraps up her spell very nicely. Mariam Bilibawa, another left-handed batter, now makes her way to the crease. She is very lethal when it comes to bowling. But now she will have to do some work for Jinja SS with the bat. Final ball of the over for Erin Morton. Fall but driven down the ground, and it will be a dot ball, but what an over there. The penultimate over turning out to be a double wicket maiden. And as we come to the end of the 19th, 98 for 7 is the score.
I tell you, even this venue has seen so many runs. We've seen centuries at this venue. We've seen 90s at this venue. And in this game where we thought maybe it would be a high-scoring game, we are seeing a total of 68 runs in 19 overs. It tells you how much competitive this game has been. The batters haven't gotten that good day, but the bowlers have really done so well. The last over coming, and it is to be bowled by Nampere, bowling from the school end.
Sonia Nampera, and you clearly see the idea there from the batter. She swings hard, a chance for them to pick 2 runs, but the only issue was that the batter looked behind. A run-out chance. Shadia Gilingish Navulme with the throw from down in the deep, and Judith Nakasaga manages to wipe off the bails. She ran herself into traffic. Asha Mukite and St. John's, the secondary school, pick up the 8th wicket.
I tell you, that was a much-deserved wicket there. Much looked to get wicket, because it is the wicket of Mukite, who has to depart for 25 runs from 30. She has really done a decent job. Came in at the moment where runs weren't coming for Jinja. She tried and played so many shots, fought so hard, but that edge until that moment, a misfield in the deep. She took long to pick the ball, fumbled a little bit. That throw was really good to the wicket keeper. Easy collectings for the wicket keeper to finish the run out.
As soon as she hit the ball, Asha Mukite, she kept her eyes to the direction where the ball was going. Yet that was a call for the non-strikers end batsman I beg your pardon, the non-strikers end batter. Meaning if she had just hit the ball and waited for the call, then she ran, she could have had the chance of making her ground in return. But what a throw there from Shadia Gilingish Nawulime. Running in down towards the third man boundary and collecting that one. She throws it very nicely and she manages to pick up another wicket. Nali Juliet is the new batter in for Jinja Secondary School. Full toss, hit straight to the fielder at mid-on, and only a single they will take to bring up the 70 runs mark. And Jinja SS will feel that they have something to bowl at, given the quality of bowlers that they do have on their team.
Getting off the mark straight away, the new batter, Nali, that allows Biribawe to go on strike. She hasn't gotten off the mark. She has already faced one ball, that of Irene Mutonyi. And now with 2 more balls left, rather 4 more balls left in this game, it's a question of how many can they add to the 70.
Tries to hit that one, but not so powerfully. And I think because that ball is angling in towards her, Mariam Biribawa, as the leg spinner is bowling, she need to make sure that she hits it with the turn, because it comes a little naturally with the left-handed batters. And given the field setup, as that counts as a way to the side of Jinja SS, given the field setup, the fielder who is standing at mid-wicket is standing so close, so meaning when you go across, you can easily hit it over the head of the fielder. That's what I was talking about. She goes, but there was a fielder. Shadia Gilingish Tabulime has been the busiest in the field. She runs in from long on and takes another catch. Jinja Secondary School loses the 9th wicket. Mariam Biribawa trying to go innovative, and in the end she falls into the trap by Sonia Nampera.
How good has the fielding for St. John's Secondary School Mukono been to this afternoon? We saw Shadia taking that cream of a catch. She really did so well at mid-wicket, but right now completing another easy catch at long on. Had a little run into the field, completing it with an Australian technique. What a beautiful take that is. But the last man standing in the dugout has to come in, and it is 71 for the loss of 9 wickets in 19.4 overs. 2 more balls left.
Kisa Anne-Marie Nekesa is the new batter in to bat through the remaining 2 balls in this innings. Sonia Nampera now coming right arm over. But Anne-Marie not managing to hit that one past Sonia. And it will be a dot ball. 1 more ball to play in this game. 4 wickets falling so far in the remaining 2 overs. An edge, leading edge, and a beautiful take there by the fielder at point. Jinja SS will complete all out in the allotted 20 overs.
It has really been a fielding masterpiece there from St. John's. Everything that has been here, they have caught it with ease, and that has restricted Jinja to 71. Good bowling displays too from St. John's. The bowlers have really been so precise with the lanes. We haven't seen so many extras, but they have done a great job. But talk about the comeback from Jinja, the 2 batters that came in and held the ship steady after the collapse in the power play. 4 wickets falling in less than 10 overs, but managing to post 70 runs That was a really good comeback that was needed.
The Jinja SS earlier on won the toss and opted to bat first, but somehow the innings weren't moving their way. Elizabeth Acheng up front in the innings scored 25 of 42. Mukite Asha later in the mid-order supported her with a 26 of 31. 9 extras given away by St. John's Secondary School, and it's a positive for them. 71 all out in 20 overs. Jinja Secondary School. Morton Erin was the leading wicket taker and most economical bowler in this game for St. John's. She bowled half overs, conceded 6 runs and picked up 3 wickets, an economy of 1.50. Sonia Nampera picked up 2 wickets, whereas Shadia Gilingish Nawulime as well picked up 2. 1 apiece for Jovia Sache and Irene Nademba. We will take a short break and we will come back with the commentary during the second innings. 72 runs is what St. John's needs to make sure that they get off a very bright start in this Super 8 Group A clash here at St. Joseph's College, Laibi.
Always look to capitalize on
Ula has already marked her run-up, and it is a run chase for St. John's Secondary School, where they come in to chase 72 runs from the 20 overs. But Mukite starting off with a very beautiful delivery, person around the hip. And the two batters for St. John's are Nakasanga and Nampere. Again, the replay there really rushed her into playing that false shot. Nakasanga Judith and Nampera Sonia. This time round going for the stumps, but another dot ball. We saw how the pace bowlers were in the power play for St. John's, but it's the first game of the Super 8 Group A, and it's a clash between St. John's Secondary School, Mukono up against Jinja Senior Secondary School. Jinja winning the toss and opting to bat first, scored 71 in the 20 overs. But I'm Aljuna, fortunate in the commentary box to take you through the run chase. And I'm not alone, I'm with Ivan Cyprian Sajabi to take you through the proceedings here at St. Joseph's College, Laibi. Welcome back, Ivan, and good afternoon.
Thank you so much, Footnet, and I'm happy to be back here in the comms. Somehow runs are coming the way of Jinja SS, but look at that. I beg your pardon, somehow runs are coming the way of St. John's Secondary School, but now the Loud field for the Jinja SS fielders is tending to try and scare out the batters of St. John's Secondary School. We need to make sure that they just keep knocking the ball around. A run a ball could see them somewhere off the pads, and work to do by the fielder running in from fine leg to third man. But by runs are the indication from the umpire.
Tell you the running between the wickets hasn't been great so far, because we have seen two occasions where the batters have been presented with a chance of taking maybe byes, but they haven't really utilized that. And it will be the new batter who is yet to get off the mark, Nampera Sonia. Didn't do well with the ball and now comes into bat. Last ball of the over.
It's a dot ball here to end the over. 2 off the first. And 2 for no loss is the score at the end of the first over. 70 more needed in 19.
Mukete really had a decent over to start the innings with only 2 runs, but one being an extra through a wide. Now the new bowler from the school end will come in for Jinja Senior Secondary School.
Yatikabula Rashida will be the new bowler coming in for Jinja Secondary School. Another medium seamer there. She doesn't have a very long run up, but she always uses her fielder to hit the hard deck. She played for Uganda during the under-19 qualifiers in 2024, and she carries some bit of experience to that Jinja SS team. So they will be hoping that she can hit the deck quite well. Gets one angling down the leg, and wide is the call from the umpire. Troubles bowling to the left-handed batter.
I tell you, Evan, all the 3 runs that have come on board for St. John's Secondary School have been through extras. We saw only 9 extras bowled by St. John's, but Jinja at the moment are not really controlling that extra column. And there, Nakasanga will go off the mark, running the ball down to fine leg.
Somehow, Judith Nakasaga, the wicketkeeper batter, showing some bit of stability ahead. Her alongside Sonia Nampere, making sure that they start off well this run chase. Skids off the surface, and it's another dot ball for Jinja Secondary School.
That was really bowled so quick. It really came really quick to the batter, but dot ball in return for Jinja Senior Secondary School.
A little short, but not worked away very well by the batter, and it's another dot ball for Rashida. Back-to-back dot balls, and Jinja SS will be needing many of these dot balls to try and make sure that they stick in this game.
Tight lines, really tight lines there from Tikabula Rashida. She has done so well after that single where she bowled and on the body to the left-hander Nakasaga. But later on she has gone on to hit 3 dot balls in a row. And going straight on this occasion. But runs are not really coming easy for St. John's Secondary School. And with one more ball left in this over, but there was one extra. What can this one extra ball mean in this run chase? Because literally she would have bowled her 6 balls, but now it is the extra ball. Driven hard on the up, but straight to the cover fielder, the captain. And it's a dot ball to finish up the over. 2 overs done, and it's only 4 for the loss of none. And it's 2 overs done. Mukte will be the bowler continuing from the Juba Road end. She bowled so well with only 2 runs from the first over. Beautiful, beautiful drive there. Hit so hard, but the fielders were too straight. Only couldn't beat the gap really came out of the middle of the bat, and it will be a dot ball. This time round, Mukite trying to be full and goes really full. Good enough, it was stopped in the middle for another dot ball. A dot ball to start the over. That won't be stopped. That won't be stopped despite the efforts, putting the hand on it, and doesn't have the wheels to go all the way to the boundary. Good efforts in the middle, trying to dive in a little bit and putting a hand and stopping it for only 2 runs.
Well, she chipped in the dive, but she went down to the ground a little early. And by the time she got down to the ground, the ball went on skidding away from her. But in the end, she manages to recover, cuts off the boundary, and makes sure that they take only 2 runs. Judith Nakasaga trying to wipe one off the pads, making some good access backward of the square, but good work done there by the fielder.
But there is a fielder at sleep position there in the sleep cordon. Really good captainess there, or else it would have run to.
Jinja Secondary School clearly knows that they are not working with so many runs, and they know the importance of that good fielding, making sure that you run in and cut off the boundaries, cut off the singles, and make sure that you pile up the dot balls, pile up the pressure at St. John's High School, so that you could have them into giving you wickets. On the other side, St. John's cautious. They do not want to lose any early wickets. But the dot balls still coming the way of Jinja SS. And I tell you now, Jinja SS don't need dot balls as such. They will need to take wickets because they don't have too many runs on board.
Yes, well said, Dave. And it will be the wickets that will mean so much to Jinja. But how do they get those wickets? It is through getting those dot balls for the batters to be under pressure and try to do something ordinary, try to do maybe something out of context. And that's the way how they will pick up the wickets. So far the batters have played so well, haven't really been in a rush to scoring runs. Another ball drive there from Sonia, but finding the gap has been a challenge for her. Another good over, only 8 runs from it, rather only 1 run from it. And after 4, the score is 8 for none. 64 runs required in 16 overs. The required run rate keeps on going up for St. John's Secondary School. Now it is at 4. Starting this over, it was at 3.82, and now it is at 4. But that will force a bowling change. Not in fact a bowling change, but it will be Mukite bowling her third from the Juba Road end.
Jinja SS does possess fine spinners. Mariam Bidiwawa, one of the players who've taken favors in this tournament, can come and bowl in very good tandem with other bowlers like Sheila Namagoba. So somehow Jinja SS will need to make sure that they block the leakage of runs, then bring on their prime bowlers bowl when the power play is done. That's cut, but good fielding there. Cutting it off very nicely. 64 more needed in 15.5. And I tell you, it's a very good passage of play here at St. Joseph's College, Laibi.
She's really looking good, Nakasaga. All the shots that she has played have really been beautiful. A little touch there, deft touch there, hoping to beat the fielder, and she does, picking up that boundary. A skillful touch from Judith to pick up the first boundary. We saw the first boundary for Jinja came in at the 5th over, and so it has for St. John's. Beautiful touch there.
There was some width offered there, and a confident shot of authority there applied by Judith Nakasaga. breaking the shackles and bringing up the boundary. Look at that one. The ball was angling away from hand. She just guided it past the fielder at point to bring up the first boundary in the run chase. There was an appeal of LBW, but the umpire says it was going down the leg. Good adjustment there from Mukite Asha. She is now bowling stump to stump, making sure that she keeps the lanes, she keeps the stumps into play. Because in the previous ball, she bowled one outside off stump, but it was cut away. So she's making sure she brings it closer to force Nakasaga to drive it down the ground.
Beautiful goal there by the umpire. If you look at where Nakasaga is taking her guard from, leaving all the stumps for the bowler to see. Like you said, she has come back strong after that boundary. She saw that Nakasaga was good at cutting the ball, cut us off that boundary. Now she tries maybe bowl it straight. We saw her straying away from the lane, went on the pad and now down the body.
Glorious had driven, but Sheila Namagoba, a very, very handy fielder, puts somebody down on the line and manages to make a very fine stop. This is the 22nd edition of the Skyview Girls Schools Cricket Week Tournament, being hosted in Gulu for the second consecutive year. It was hosted right in this last year, and it was won by Olida High School, who beat Light SS in the finals. Now we come back to Gulu for the second consecutive year with an expanded tournament. Expanded in terms of numbers of teams taking part in this tournament. Not only that, but also expanded in terms of the partners. Move Products Limited making sure that they come on board as hedging partners, School Logistics partners, and Batibo Uganda Limited coming on board as broadcast partners. That dot ball will bring us to the end of over number 5. The scoreboard still reading 14 for no loss.
It has really been a good spell for St. John's Secondary School, Mukono, picking up 14 runs without losing a wicket, which was the contrary for Jinja Senior Secondary School. At this moment, they had already lost 2 wickets, but with one more over left in the power play, and Sonia is yet to get off the mark. She has tried to go on the onside so many times and failed. And it will be Tikabula Rashida who bowls her third over. They have really been so good, the two bowling in tandem. Look at those ball drives. All of them have been going straight to the fielder. She just needs to find a way of beating those fielders. Maybe open up the face of the bat a little bit. Maybe use the wrist to beat those fielders. But all the shots she has played have gone on to be in vain.
Somehow she needs to play with an angled bat, trying to make sure that she can flick, or maybe open it up to play it through the covers. One angle's in for her. There is an appeal, but that would have risen above the stumps. Good adjustment there from Rashida Tikabula, just angling it back. But Sonia Nampel has been really showing that she's getting access to the ball. What is lacking is trying to push the ball, trying to drive it through. But a good over in the making for Jinja Secondary School. 3 dot balls up front in the final over to complete the power play.
Tell you, Sonia Nampera is really struggling at the moment, facing 17 balls and not getting off the mark. Tells you how struggling she has been.
That's beautiful. Forward by the field that covers, giving St. John's Secondary School a chance to take the run. But you'll clearly see that when Sonia got full access of it, she opened up her blade and tried to drive it. Sheila Namagoba was well placed, but there was some power in the shot. That's why she fumbled it, giving St. John's a chance to pick up that single.
I tell you, there was some confusion between Nakasaga and Sonia. Sonia knew that there was a chance of a run. Immediately she plays the ball and takes away, but there was some little hesitation from Nakasanga. But all in all, it is Sonia who gets off the mark after 18 balls.
Left alone and another dot ball. 57 in 14.1 is what St. John's needed to pick up the first victory. And that dot ball brings us to the end of the over. It also brings us to the end of the power play. And as we come to the end of the power play, scoreboard reads 15 for no loss after 6 overs.
I tell you, at this stage of the game, after the power play, Jinja SS had scored 19 but lost 2 wickets. And if you're to look at the passage of play in St. John's Secondary School, Mukono's inning, get a feeling that they are shy by only 1 run, but they rather only 2 runs, but they are on top with the wickets. They haven't lost any, but power play done already. Now how many can they go on and post? It is a good play so far.
Hit to point. But look at that one here, there was a chance of taking that run, but the batters scaring themselves out. Mukite Asha coming to bowl half final over. Not sure what the plan is for Habib Mugaula, but clearly Mukite Asha has been handy. She's bowled 3. I beg your pardon.
Another drive on the up. Like you said, they haven't really been bowling, rather running so hard in the middle. They have struggled to run. There are some chances that they haven't taken, and they hope that those chances don't go on to haunt them. Because if you see all the fielders are hanging at the 30, you just drop the ball and take off straight away. Look at the inner fielders. All of them are at the circle, but there hasn't been any idea of trying and drop the ball and rotate the straight. They have only relied on powerful shots, and in the end it has somehow cost them some runs.
Driven but straight to the fielder. Shira Namagova working overtime, making sure that every time the ball goes to her, she puts her body down the line. She knows this is a big stage because a few minutes ago we saw the arrival of the Victoria Powers coaches, Deus Didi Muhumza and Brian Makamasaba, alongside the women's rep, who is also the manager for the Victoria Powers, Lady Namagando Ndoko. So when you're playing under their watch, you know that you might catch their eye, and in the next upcoming Under-19 Women's Camp, which is a preparation for the ICC Women's Under-19 World Cup that will happen in Dar es Salaam, you would maybe have a chance. What a good over they're making there. Mukite Asha, 4 dot balls. I beg your pardon, 5 dot balls on trot. With just 1 more ball to wrap up this over. Hard length, but that's a hit. Well, now looking later with a fine stop, and only a single they will do take from the 7th over. And as we come to the end of the 7th over, 17 for no loss is what the scoreboard reads for the Jonians.
$55 runs required in the next 13 overs, and we've seen Mukite bowling out her 4-over spell and not picking a wicket but going for 12 runs. Now it's a question of to the captain that who are the bowlers to come in. Do you still go for pace or do you try something new? And right away she brings in Tigabula Rashida to finish her over.
And it's a wicket for Jinja Secondary School. Somehow the coach sticking on his plan and it works out for him. Caught going across the lane, Sonia Nampera. And Rashida picks up the first wicket for Jinja SS.
Really too straight there from Rashida. And the batter Sonia, who was struggling, she only scored 1 run, rather 2 runs, and now has to depart. But what a breakthrough. The decision has been vindicated to keep on Tigabula, Rashid and Mukite to bowl their 4 overs in tandem and now picking the first wicket. That could be the breakthrough that they needed. And you can see the celebration.
At long last, Jinja SS has something to celebrate for. They were desperate of picking up a wicket, and they do pick up 1. 1 brings 2, so they'll need to make sure that they pick many of these if they have to defend what they have posted. Josephine Nabagala is the new batter in, replacing Sonia Nampera. Jinja Secondary School will need more 55 runs from 12.5 overs to pick up victory.
Yesterday, Nabagala Josephine opened the batting for St. John's when they were playing against Masaka at the Gulu High School main ground. And now she comes in at number 2. Does that affect her batting, given that she opened the batting and now she comes in at number 2, where things seem to be set for her? Again, that could be straight, and the finger goes up. The finger goes up, bowls it too straight. That doesn't give her any time to collect her thoughts, move her feet. Really straight. Tries to take that trigger movement, but too late she does. And the ball ends on her pads. What a breakthrough this is turning to be. 2 wickets falling in a period of just 2 balls. And it is Tigabula who has to bowl her last over. And in the last over of her spell, comes in and delivers 2 blows already.
Yeah, good bowling there by Rashida Tigabula. One thing that has changed in this over compared to the previous over, she's been bowling 2 straight, keeping the wickets in play. And that's why she's managed to pick up those back-to-back wickets. We've so far seen 3 hat-tricks in this tournament. And now Rashida Tigabula has the chance of picking up the 4th if she can dismiss Gilingish, Nabulime, Shadia. Now the pressure shifting the way of St. John's Secondary School because of those 2 wickets that have fallen in quick succession. 17 for 2 after 7.2 overs is what the scoreboard reads for St. John's, and they will need more 55 in 12.4.
I love the fact that the captain, Giringi Shadia, comes in at number 4. We saw her bat late yesterday against Masaka, coming in at number 7, but now she has to bat at number 4.
What a very good ball there on a hat-trick. Rashida Tigabula bowling it wide. Rashida Tigabula alongside Shadia Gilingish Nabulime were both during that under-19 team that played in Kigali in 2024. But now it's a turn for each of them to carry their teams forward in these Super 8 games. Bit of a half-tracker, but well guided down to the ground by Shadia Gilingish Nabulime. But a much good over there for Jinja Secondary School because they're not giving anything away and they've made sure that they pick back.
It's a very beautiful comeback after suffering a period of 6 overs without picking a wicket. And in the 8th over, that's when you pick the 2 wickets. And it means that now the pressure has shifted from Jinja SSC side to St. John's at the moment.
Braves that one, but straight to the field at covers. Sheila Namagoba always down on the ground and making sure that she stops the balls. It is another dot ball in the over. Tigabula Rashida guilty of giving away a wide on her hat-trick ball. But in the end, she's made amendments. Final ball of the over. Oh, she'll have to ball it again. Another wide in the over.
Yeah, so many extras have been bowled so far, and runs haven't come off the bat for St. John's Secondary School, and we are almost reaching the halfway mark of this game, but runs haven't even reduced by a portion.
Swings hard but nowhere in the frame, and it's a dot ball. End of over number 8. 2 runs, the 2 wickets falling in that over. And as we complete the 8th, scoreboard reads 19 for a loss of 2 wickets.
It has really been a good matchup between these two bowlers, bowled in partnership together and picked 2 wickets, but all of them being bowled, rather picked by Rashida. But 8 overs have been bowled in the shortest time. It tells you how much the bowls can go within a shortest time, but not scoring runs. That will be a concern. They have suffered 8 overs already, but only having 19 runs. And this time round, we go into a phase where the spinners have to come in. The captain comes in to bowl from the Juba Road end. Namagoba Shaira.
Kept wondering, when do we see the spinners coming into the attack? I had a feeling Mariam Biriwa will come before Sheila Namagoba. But the coach says, let me go for experience. Sheila Namagoba coming in to bowl. She has extra cover, long on, long off, and deep square leg all patrolling the boundary. Deep square leg standing close to the deep mid-wicket side. A full one rolls through, and another wicket. Namagoba Sheila into the attack. Namagoba Sheila already in the wickets column. She manages to get rid of the left-handed batter. And it's another celebration moment there for Jinja SS.
2 full delivery to hit on the onside. Not really in the position to hit the lofted off on drive. But again, backing her strength, trying to go on the onside. The ball being far away from her. She would have at least stepped forward other than stepping away from the line of the ball. Yes, she wanted to create room, but how far do you step? And the first wicket falls. First wicket falls for the captain. 3 wickets already. 19 is the score after 8.1.
One thing I've liked about the tactics there by the St. John's Secondary School coach is to make sure that Irene Muton and Gilingish Nabulme come and bat early in the innings. You have no reason of keeping them. After all, when they both get out, it will be on pressure to the batting lineup. At least bring them in so that the team quickly gets used to playing without them. These two have a chance of making another mark. Erin Muton, a player for the VPs. Shana Magoba also made her debut, and now an interesting matchup. Driven down the ground, but well fielded by Sheila. She is so good at fielding her own balls, and it is a dot ball for her.
I love the fact that they have kept the third slip in play. But Irene Mutonyi has to do something for her team. Thinks maybe that would go past Sheila and started running straight away. But in the end, another dot ball, 3 balls already. But they are yet to get a run off Sheila.
She puts the fight on Sheila. That one beating the batter completely. Similar to the ball that got out the left-handed batter. She got it angling in, and the batter could not drive it on. But now she's making sure that she puts Irene Mutoni's outside edge into play, because there is a fielder at third slips. A little fall and hit down the ground, but there is a fielder, Nalukenga Leila, with a fine stop. And Irene Mutoni manages to get off the mark.
You asked the reason as to why The captain went for the ball other than giving it to a less experienced bowler, but who has been in the wicket column for Jinja. And the only reason was that there was a left-handed batter. And I tell you, it really paid dividends for them.
Full toss and play down the ground. It should go all the way to the boundary. Yes. Shadia Gilingish now getting off the mark with authority. Drives one through the cover area. It goes past the extra cover and she manages to get off the mark with the boundary.
A really stylish shot there. Timed very well. Picking up the gap so well. But a full toss, a loose delivery there. And all she had to do was just pick up the gap. And everything was done by the outfield. Beautiful shot there from the captain Giringish to get off the mark in style. But 9 overs done and 24 for 3 is the score.
Rashidat Kabula done with her spell and Mariam Biribawa into the attack. Starts with one angling away from the batter. She is going through her over very quickly. She gets the ball and gets to her run up right away.
That is a knack way that she has gone for every time. She really tends to keep on top of the batters. Doesn't give them time to think through what they have just done.
I love the fact that even the captain herself has read it very nicely. Elizabeth Acheng, the wicket keeper, has also read what Biriwa is trying to do. Every time Elizabeth Acheng gets the ball, she gives it to Biriwa so that she can get to her run up very quickly. And before Irene Muton settles in, Biriwa is already on her run up. Left arm round, angling it in. It is hit down to the sweeper. And only a single will be taken. A hard chance, but some forward movement could have made that one result into a catch. But they will be happy that what they do get, the batters of St. John's, is only a single.
Good field placements there from Jinja. They have really put good fielders in the right place. 3 on the onside and only 1 on the offside. That is the long on, rather long off. And in the end, Gringish just giving it a little touch. We know how good Mutonyi can be when it comes to clearing the onside. So the two bowlers, the spinners, have to know that and don't bowl anything in her reach. She's a tall batter, so everything pitched up can mean that she can get under it.
Select for Shadia Gilingish. Mariam Biriwa has gone pace off. You see that she is even running back to her run up to try and make sure that she bowls the next delivery very, very quickly. One of her first coaches in Aaron Kusasa, who is doing a lot of work with the Jinja Cricket Academy, will be very happy seeing Mariam Biriwa on this big stage. Hang was one in and it is driven down the ground straight to the fielder and another dot ball in the over. Well, that dot ball will bring us to the end of the over. Just one run in Biriwa Mariam's first over. And at the halfway mark, 25 for 3 is what the scoreboard reads for St. John's Secondary School. They do need more 47 runs from as many as 60 balls.
Already halfway mark, but the score reading 25 for 3. And at this stage of the game, Jinja Senior Secondary School had also lost 4 wickets, but scored 29. You can see again at this stage, St. John's are only 1 wicket short from what Jinja was, but 4 runs behind. It tells you that they are still having a chance. But what made a difference was the partnership that they got.
One there from Sheila Namagobo on her return. And again misfielded. Looks like she wasn't ready to ball it. It just skid out of her hands. And in the end, just a run is taken. Sheila Namagobo back to keep the pressure on. 5 in her first, and now she returns for another over. Brilliant. Putting the outside edge of the bat into play, and she manages to get another dot ball.
It is at this stage of the game where we saw the partnership of Acheng and Mukite come into play. They did really well to push the over. This time round, hit hard on the offside. The two batters, Acheng and Mukite, did so well to push the score to close to 60. But they are the only two batters for Jinja that scored double figures. And we are yet to see a batter in here for St. John's score a double figure. They have really all struggled to get runs. And it is to these two most experienced players in the St. John's side that have to carry that mantra upon themselves. Make sure that they drive their team past the finishing line.
Hit up in the air. There is a waiting fielder, and the catch is taken. Sloggers don't stick in for so long. Chances created, chances taken, and another wicket goes for St. John's Secondary School. Erin Mutoni will have to make a long walk back to the dugout.
That will be really bad for St. John's at the moment. At the point where they thought that maybe these should stay in a little longer. Mutoni has to depart. Another good delivery marked her demise. Very good bowling there from Shaila Namagoba, the captain, knowing that Erin Mutoni is strong on the onside, but this time round bowling it outside the lane of the stumps there. Willis on over, but Mutoni opening up the face of the bat a little bit, slicing it up, finds the ball, rather waiting field that covers.
If she had closed in well hitting that ball, maybe she could have picked up something towards the point area. She also needed to play it a little bit late to make sure that she gets that gap between the slip fielder, the third slip fielder, and the fielder towards point. Morton Irene fell into the trap, pace off the ball, angling away from her, and she sliced it to the fielder at covers. And Lokuya Michelle is the new batter in for St. John's Secondary School. Drifting away from her, and it's a dot ball.
This could be troublesome for St. John's Secondary School. We know they don't have that leverage of so many batters in their lineup. So now we are tending into the tail end, given that they've only suffered 4 wickets, but they don't have that leverage of so many players who can bat in their dugout. 2 runs in that over with a wicket, most importantly, of Mutoni. And the score is 27 for 4 after 11.
What 5 runs needed from 54 balls. Too much responsibility now lies on the shoulders of Gilingish Nabulime Shadia, who will need to do a lot of heavy lifting for her team. But Mariam Biriba, who gave her just 1 run in her first over, has the ball for Jinja Secondary School to ball from the school end. A little flighted and driven through the cover area. Nabulime with a single for St. John's Secondary School. This is the 22nd edition of the Skyview Girls Schools Cricket Week Tournament. Skyview, a product from Harris International, being the main sponsors for this tournament. But other partners, including Movic Products Limited, coming on board as hedging partners, Schoolie coming on board as logistics partners, and Batbo Uganda Limited are on board as broadcast partners. Tournament organized by Cricket Uganda and the Northern Cricket Hub and Gulu High School for the second consecutive year, saying, well, we have no issues hosting you. 43 from 8.3 for St. John's Secondary School to pick up victory and get their first win in this Group A Super 8 fixture.
I tell you, even with a game that started with A required run rate of only 3.28 now has gone to 5.16. That shows you how many dot balls these batters from St. John's Secondary School have suffered. The dot ball percentage has been so much. That is what was needed to be done all along. Giringish notices that all the fielders are waiting for the hard shots, just dropping it a little bit. That's what they needed to do, the openers. I feel that they played so many shots with power, but didn't realize the condition that was requiring just to get a little tap on the ball. And this time round, an outside edge will give them one run. At least you can see the urgency of running in between the wickets. A single to finish up the over, and the score is 31 after 12.
Namagoba should have back to ball her third over. 41 more runs needed from 48 balls for St. John's Secondary School to pick up victory. Still gets it angling away from her. Shadia Giringish trying to align it with the bounce, but not hitting it so well. Longo on, longo off, extra cover, and deep mid wicket all at the boundary, just waiting to catch. If Shadia goes up in the air, it beats the outside edge of the bat, and it's another dot ball. Just a correction, the bat at strike is Lokuya Michelle. Shadia Giringish waiting from the non-strikers end, but they look a bit similar in stature. Flighted and hit up in the air. Catching practice for the fielder at covers. And another catch is taken. Namagobashila finds a way of buying another wicket. Anna Mary Kisa with the second catch in this match. She earlier on took Irene Mutoni's catch from the same area. And Jinja SS manages to pick up the fifth from the St. John's batting lineup.
I tell you, that was a really, really loose delivery. But again, the open face of the bat has always done St. John's the harm. This time round, Michelle also scamming to that wicket through opening up the face of the bat there, slicing it a little bit, not having strong grip on the bat. And in the end, 5 wickets down for St. John's Secondary School, and 41 runs required from 7.3 overs.
In the afternoon results in the first game of this same group, the Group A of the Super 8, Walida High School has managed to defeat Mount St. Henry's High School by 4 wickets. That game which has been played at the Gulu main ground. But a lot of interesting action is happening. Masindi going punch for punch with late SS. Late SS needs 7 runs from 33 balls with wickets at hand, chasing down 46. What a game on the cards. Nyakasura School has managed to pick up a victory against St. Cornelius SS Kalagala, a 29-run victory. That game was played at the Gulu Prison Ground, and it is a placement match. Sorot SS, Ndeje SS. Sorot needs 3 runs from 16 balls. But it's a wicket time here at St. Joseph's College Laibi. Shira Namagoba looking so unplayable. Nakaja Jalia not managing to close out her gate. Another one rolls through. The new batter comes and the new batter goes.
I tell you, it will always be a good matchup of the left-hander facing the off-spinner. And I tell you, every time the captain Namagoba has seen a left-hander on strike, She has always really picked a wicket. Another good delivery there. The ball turning into the left-hander. A little bit of flight there. Flighted it so much that the batter couldn't again go under the ball. And that is the captain in your frame. She has done a really good job picking up 4 wickets already. She came in after the 8 overs were done. And now she's leading from the front with the ball, boosting morale around the field. Such good traits of a captain. Very well bowled, captain. Kudos to you.
4 wickets for her in this game so far. Namagoba Sheila, 2.5 overs she's bowled, conceding just 7. But the 4 wickets are gold dust. Nelima Jorin is the new batter in for St. John's Secondary School. Will get it down the ground, and it's a dot ball. That brings us to the end of the over. Double wicket maiden, not the first one in this game. We saw Irene Mouton bringing up one in the first innings. But as we come to the end of the 13th over, 31 for 6 is what the scoreboard reads for St. John's Secondary School. And they do need more 41 runs from 7 overs. Biribawa Mariam into the attack for Jinja Secondary School to bowl her third. Mariam Biribawa has been really bowling well. She's gone for only 5 in her first 2. And now she returns to bowl to Shadia Nabulime Gilingish.
I love the fact that it has been Biribawa who has piled up the pressure from the other side. Hasn't picked wickets yet, but it has been her building pressure from the other side, being so economical, not giving away easy runs, whereas the captain from the Juba end comes in and bowls, picks wickets. That's how the bowling partnerships work, and in the end she continues doing a decent job. 2 dot balls already.
Shimmy down the track. There is a run out chance. A direct hit could have been trouble. The batter's hesitating to take the run, but it was risky. Shadia Gilingish was desperate of getting a run for St. John's Secondary School. She tried the touch and go, but in the end she's quickly sent back.
They should know that. I think at the moment Shadia should think about taking control of this game. With her experience, she shouldn't get off the mark on the first or second ball. She should face most of the balls and let maybe 1 or 2 balls be faced by the non-striker, that is Nelima. But she has to take charge from here. That will be the second weight, but that will allow Nelima to get on strike, which I feel will be so good for Jinja to see, to get a new batter on strike, and more so a less experienced player than Giringish Shadia. And the fielders are trying to cow into the 30, coming closer to the batter, which is a very good indication that they know what they want. They want Shadia to get off the strike and let the new batter come on strike and attack with an attacking field set. Dot ball to finish up the over. Oh, there were 2 wides. That means there will be an extra ball. But this is turning out to be a good over. Only that 3 extras being bowled. But a dot ball in the end to finish the over. 3 overs for Biribawa, but 6 wickets have fallen for only 34 runs after 14. That is St. John's batting.
38 runs needed from 36 balls for St. John's Secondary School to pick up victory in this first match of both teams in the Group A of the Super 8. Namagoba Shila back in the attack to bowl her final over. She's been bowling right arm around the wickets for the left-handed batters, and now she comes right arm over for Shadia Gilingish Nabulime. Shadia is on 7 of 16. She's really taken her time to grow into this match. A half tracker. She goes down on one knee and hits it down. Work for Tahia Nasuna to do, and St. John's Secondary School manages to pick up 2 runs.
If St. John's is looking at going past the score, they need more of those doubles, they need more of the singles, they need less of wickets falling and less of the dot balls, because at the moment the required run rate is at 6.17, so they need to keep rotating the strike. A little touch there, that would have been a quick run taken, but in the end they aren't really running and communicating between those two. But this tournament has seen batters scoring 150s, so Ichuma Josephine leading the batting charts in this tournament for Olira High School, having 120 coming these Super 8 games. 126 runs she has to her total. So is Melissa Ricourt, having 124 coming these Super 8 games from Olira High School. She scored 96 on this very venue. And other batters have already picked 100 plus scores. The likes of Mercy Konge, who scored 100, Mukite Asha, or Jinja, who has scored 50s and now having 120. Ruth Mwanga from Gulu High School from Gayas having 111, 114 runs. So that is how the batters have performed. So many runs have been hit in this tournament. But there is an appeal for LBW, and I think there is some height in play there, hitting almost the thigh. The umpire does no mistakes there. She ascertains that the ball would have gone on and missed the stumps. But the captain coming in to bowl her last over. Yeah, good shot there. That is a chance of a run. But again, another poor communication, turning down that single. But a dot ball to finish up the over. 3 from it, but a spell for the captain. Namagoba Shaila comes to a halt, and 10 runs for 4. And the score is 37 for 6 after 15.
It's the Skyview Girls Schools Cricket Week Tournament happening here in Gulu City. Jinja Secondary School are the record champions of this tournament. They have won it 8 times. Gayaza High School and Olida High School have won it 4 times apiece. And in all the other teams that are in the tournament, it's only Late SS who have ever tasted glory in this tournament, winning it once. The rest of the 17 teams are looking for first heavens in this tournament. Skyview being the main sponsors of this tournament, but they do partner with Movit Products Limited. Scully are also partners in this sponsorship of this tournament, whereas Batboy Uganda Limited are also part of the sponsors of this tournament. Binowa Miriam coming for her final over. Short ball hit up in the air. Shadia Gilingish Nabulime trying to hit one outside of the blocks, but she will be happy that that one fell in a no man's land as there was no fielder. She didn't really time it well.
Yeah, the extra bounce there doing the difference. She goes on the one knee but doesn't time it, because of the bounce. Biribawa bowling from top, so no doubt that there will be bounce off the surface on her bowling. But I love the fact that Jinja is going for experience. This should run to the boundary. This should run to the boundary. And good fielding there, good chase in the deep. Like I was saying, a good experience they are going for. We saw the first two bowlers bowling out all their 4 overs and ended up at 8. And now these two spinners, Biriwa and the captain Sheila, coming in and bowling all their 4 overs, hoping to finish up all to make 16 overs. And it will be a question of who will bowl the other two. Good shot there, but always not committed taking a single, which in my opinion has been the fact that has seen this score go down maybe by short than 10 or 15 runs, because there were chances of clear runs which were not taken. But a dot ball to finish up the over. Biriwa Miriam doesn't pick up any wicket, but has contributed so much. Only 4 overs, rather only 11 runs in her 4 overs.
Yeah, brilliant spell there from Mariam Biriwa comes to an end. Just 11 from her 4 overs. Goldie dust. In a game where you're not dealing with so many runs, you need to make sure that your bowlers are really hitting the good areas and making sure that they don't give anything away. 40 for 6 after 16 overs, and more 37 runs are needed in 24 balls. With 4 wickets at hand, it's a time for St. John's High School to try and, St. John's Secondary School to try and make sure that they capitalize and hit a bit. But Kisa and Mary Nekesa is the bowling change, replacing Shana Magoba. She starts off with a wide, not a very good start for her. And I know the tricks of Coach Abib Mugaula. He had brought all his gold bowlers to give them a chance of bowling out the St. John's SS batters. And now he is trying to juggle the remaining options around.
Tell you talking about the bowling options. She's in the bowling charts coming to this game. Has already picked 11 wickets for Jinja. And now comes in as the 5th option for Jinja in this evening. She hits good areas when you let her settle. Now the required run rate going at 7 to 7.82. Calls for going through the gears. They need to get a boundary somewhere. If not the boundary, they need to get doubles.
I love the idea there from the Jinja SS team. Every time Shadia Gilingish Nawilima is on strike, even the fielders inside the 30 are standing to the ring. And now, with Nelima Jorin on strike, even the fielders at the boundary move a few feet off, and those ones in the circle close in to add a little more pressure. Flighted and hit down. Not a very good ball there coming in from Kisa and Mary. Make sure that you pitch it and extract some turn from the surface. They do take the single and reduce the deficit to 28.
I tell you, she has really struggled with the length in these 2 balls that she has bowled. Already 2 wades and that full toss. It is showing you that she's yet to get her rhythm.
Hit down, but there is a fielder. Puts her body down on the line, and they run quickly for the second one. There is an appeal of run out, and the umpire says yes. The batter had not made her ground. What could have been a double results into a run out. Joreen Nelima running herself into traffic. A good throw from the long off boundary, and Elizabeth Cheng, the wicketkeeper, doing the rest. St. John's Secondary School loses the 7th wicket.
That was a really close call there from the umpire. A little fumble in the deep, but the throw was really good. The bowler waited from behind the stumps, but in the end, yeah, she really didn't make her ground. But the umpire was really looking on from close and made the right call. The 7th wicket falls. 45 runs after 16.3 overs, and now 27 runs required in 3.3 overs. And it will be the new batter.
Tomorrow at this ground, we will be having a final happening before the final, as Olida High School, the defending champion, takes on Jinja SS, the record champions. Gilingish Dawlime losing some bit of anger and making sure that she tries to hit the out of her blocks, try and make sure that she gets the runs.
One thing that I've loved about Jinja's bowling is that they have really been technical despite the extras, but they haven't bowled so many loose balls that were hit to the boundary. We saw 6 boundaries in the first innings, but now we've only seen 2 boundaries in this inning. It shows you how good they have limited the boundary options for St. John's. And now continuing to bowl in the right areas.
Yeah, much better comeback there from the bowler, Kisa Anne Mary. 2 dot balls at the back end of the over. And as we come to the end of the 17th over, 46 for 7 is the score. And the more 26 runs are needed by St. John's Secondary School Mukono from 18 balls if they pick up victory.
And with 5 bowlers already been used, 4 have all bowled their 4 overs. Now it is a matter of shuffling around these 2 bowlers to see that you bowl the remaining 3. Again, another look at the run out. Oh, the bat was still up when the wickets were being broken. And now it will be a ball to bowl from the classroom end.
I think that's an issue with some bit of awareness. But Maureen Abo is the bowler into the attack for Jinja Senior Secondary School. Not sure why Coach Abi Mugala didn't go for the Nastuna Tahia option, because she is also one of those handy seamers who can pick for you wickets. 26 in 18, 14 off 24 for Nauli Mesha Diagilingish, and none off 2 for the new batter who's just made her way to the crease. The new batter is Nachoni Jovita.
What does the 6th bowler offer to Jinja SS? Does she come in and hit the good areas? Because looking at the required run rate, 8.67, if she comes in and hits the right areas, that will be a really good show. But if she fails, that means that she will have to, the other bowler that Anna Mary bowled this time will have to compensate for the bad of it if it turns out to be that way. And Giringir should know that there has to be one bowler that she has to attack. And with that shot, it tells you that she's tending to attack Abu.
Yeah, she offered right away off the very first ball. But it's a dot ball for Maureen about start of her over. Balls one right into the pads, a full yoker. Nahuli wanted to glance it off the pads, but she didn't make sweet contact. And it's another dot ball for Maureen Abo. I love the fact that Maureen Abo has been bowling in the stump area, not giving anything away to the batters, just making sure she sticks on that tight lane.
Very good indications there from Abu Maureen, making sure that she goes for yokers, but it's a question of how consistent can she hit the yokers, because one ball can turn out to be a full toss, but this time round holding her lane a little bit backwards, but in the end it will be a new batter. Nakyonyi, who will get to face the 3 balls left for Abu. I feel it is not a good call from Giringish to let the new batter go on strike.
That one to the pads. There was an appeal, but the pass says no. And I tell you that single that Giringish Navulme took on the previous ball cannot hurt Jinja Secondary School. What would hurt them at this time in the game is a boundary. They have made sure that they crawl back in the game, keep balling the good areas. The fielding has been superb. They've taken 99% of the chances that have been created this afternoon here at St. Joseph's College. And they have gotten more dot balls to make sure that now the pressure is the way of St. John's Secondary School. The options that look like part-timing options for Jinja Secondary School have also turned out to do the very good work for the side. Dot ball to end the over. Just one off Abo Morini's first over. And as we complete the 18th over, 47-7 is what the scoreboard reads. 25 more runs are needed from 12 balls for St. John's Secondary School to walk away victorious. Anna Mary Nekesa back into the attack. Hit. There was a fielder, but the fielder didn't go for the chance, said no. Let me wait it and pick it up with the bounce. But most importantly, Asha Mukita has managed to cut off the boundary.
We've spoken about the dot balls bowled in this inning for Jinja Aces. 82 dot balls bowled. It tells you how much the bowlers have been on top of the batters. The fielding has really been superb. Nothing has been easy for St. John's Secondary School batters because everything has really been on the money. The bowlers, the fielding, the catching, everything has went Jinja's way.
Samuel Baker Oyet with the spot on call. There was an appeal of LBW, but he says that was going down the leg. It might be just a matter of time, but Jinja SS right on top of this one. Flatted and full, but not hit anywhere. There was hesitation, throw, but she made a mess of it. In the end, the batter made her ground, but that was a risky one. The call coming in from Nabuli Meshadia Giringish, who was at the non-strikers end, because she was desperate of going the other side. She punches some down.
It was really a tight run there, fixed by the two batters, but a little mess made by the bowler, fast breaking the wickets before holding onto the ball that allowed Nakyonyi to get into the crease and make her ground. With 2 more balls left in this over, now the required run rate at 17.25. Giringish still desperate to pull things up for her team. And now the target seems to be very far from St. John's to reach.
Yeah, the way it brought up the 50 runs. She goes, and that goes down the ground. But now looking there, fails to take the catch, running backwards. But she manages to have her team from conceding a boundary. Somehow Shadia Giringish now knowing that now we'll need to go hard or go home. And she's making sure that she goes hard.
I love the idea that she's now trying to use her feet, coming a little shimmy down the ground, reaching the top of the bounce, not getting the good elevation, but it is a good indication that now she's trying to go through the gears. I love it to see it from Giringish. And now going for a sweep shot, not quite timed, but good running in the end. That single will allow Giringish to be on strike for the last over, but only 6 runs taken in the penultimate over, and with only 6 balls left, and now 19 runs required.
19 runs in 6 balls is mathematically and critically gettable, but it will mean that 3 of the deliveries in this game must go to the boundaries, and what will matter is how she starts off this over. But Maureen Abo, who bowled her first over, the 17th, I beg your pardon, the 18th, that went for just 1 run, now returns to bowl the final over of this batting innings of Jinja, of St. John's Secondary School.
I like the lines that she was hitting in the previous over. Those are the tough lines. Spin on the ball, but they will only get 1. Trying to take the second. Oh my God. A mix up there. Giringish not really communicating clearly to her partner, and they get a feeling that there wasn't any chance of taking the second run there. And this 8th wicket falls for St. John's Secondary School, Mukono.
Poor communication between the batters, and another wicket goes right into the block hole and hit away. There was a chance for them to take the second run, maybe if the batters are taken off very quickly. But in the end, miscommunication, and another one goes. Shadia Giringish Dawulime involving herself in a second run out in this game. St. John's Secondary School loses another wicket.
The captain for Jinja Senior Secondary School, Navaguba Sheila, has really done a great job leading from the front, picking 4 wickets. But the energies, the changes that she has made, the bowling matchups that she has gone with have really been so great. And now with 18 runs required in just 5 balls, like you said, just 3 boundaries have to be picked in this over. And now, who is there to pick those 3 boundaries?
The new batter on strike, Kisache Jovia. 5 more deliveries remaining in this match, and just 18 runs will be needed. The boundary falls will mean victory, but easier said than done. 54 for 8 is what St. John's has at the moment. There's an appeal, and the umpire raises up the finger. Trapped her LBW, and Kisache Jovia will have to walk back to the dugout. Back-to-back wickets for Jinja Senior Secondary School.
That was really close. Really close. She had covered up her stumps, trying to go for a little push. And in the end, the straighter ball ends up on her pads, and the 9th wicket falls with only 1 wicket left. And now the equation is only left to 3 sixes, maybe, because even 4 fours can work, but at the moment we haven't seen any maximum in this game, so you can't expect boundaries to come easily. And now Jinja SS would be so happy that they are only left with picking 1 wicket and pick the first victory.
Irene Nademba was so good with the pace, and now she comes into bat at number 11 for St. John's. Clearly it will be a very hard question if you ask Nademba Irene to score a boundary at this time of the game. But more 18 runs are needed in 4. She's taking her sweet time.
It has taken her so long to prepare and face the first ball. In most cases, there could be a penalty for that if the fielders appeal.
Yeah, but looking forward in the tournament tomorrow in the morning at Gulu High Ground. Sacred Heart will take on Masaka Secondary School. Here at Laibi, Olida will take on Jinja SS. Those two are Super 8 fixtures. The other Super 8 fixture will be at Laibi between Mount St. Henry's and St. John's. But the other fixtures that are happening in the placement games, Gaza High School will take on St. Teresa Secondary School Masindi at Laibi B, whereas at Cool Prison, Good Hearts Senior Secondary School will take on Iganga SS in the Eastern Region, Onero Region Derby rather. Kasese will take on Nyakasura in the Western Region Derby at Graceland tomorrow in the morning. So make sure that you keep it Cricket Uganda YouTube channel, because we'll be giving you the updates from all those games, and make sure that you tell us which schools you're rooting for. This is the 22nd edition of the Skyview Girls Schools Cricket Week Tournament, sponsored by Skyview, Movit Products Limited, Portable Uganda Limited, and Scully. 50 more balls remaining to call it game, set, and match. And at the moment, it's even mathematically possible for St. John's to pick up victory. But how they wrap up the match will be very vital. They will take the by run, I beg your pardon, the leg by run, and it will be Shadia Gilindish now will make to face the final ball of this batting innings of St. John's.
Playing 31 balls and scoring 20 runs. She's only left with one chance, maybe to try and hit the 6 or play a not out, which a not out wouldn't be good for the team, but the 6 will work so much for St. John's because they will have lost by smaller margin. But the not out will be good for Giringish to, and she ends with a not out. The last ball of this inning bowled, but what a good bowling it has been from Jinja throughout. All the bowlers that have come in, they have really bowled so well. Abu coming in, he had dead and bowling those state lines, picking 2 wickets and only conceding 1 run. It shows you, rather going for 2 runs and picking 1 wicket. It shows you how good she has been. But everyone, the captain picking 4 wickets, but anything that hasn't worked for St. John's has been their batting. They consumed so many dot balls, and they will have to go back on the drawing board, think about the bad things that they have done, and think about the good things that they should do. And in your frame, the match summary for you. Match summary: Jinja's Senior Secondary School, Asha came in and scored 26 runs, and so was Elizabeth. Those are the 2 batters that only scored 2 rather double figure scores, whereas the pick of the bowlers from St. John's was Irene Mutonyi that picked 3 wickets, but Sonia and Nabulime picked 2 wickets apiece, whereas the batting that didn't go well for St. John's, coming in to chase 72 runs. Nabulime Gringish fought so hard and scored 20 from 32, whereas Judith also fought and scored only 10 runs. While the pick of the bowlers from Jinja, the captain, 10 runs she suffered but picked 4 wickets, whereas Rashida Tikahula picking 2 wickets and going for 6, and only 1 wicket was picked by Maureen, who bowled the last over Abu, and it was Jinja Senior Secondary School that won with 16 runs. And we shall be back with the action tomorrow, same venue here, where we're seeing Jinja taking on it will be Jinja taking on Soroti at this same venue. We shall be here tomorrow for the placement games and also the Super 8 games, and it has been Arjuna Fortunate in the commentary box. On behalf of Ivan Sajabi, I sign out until tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Good night.